Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into one of the most shocking and defining moments in the ongoing war, Ukraine's latest and most daring strike yet on the Crimea Bridge. Once again, the structure that has come to symbolize Russia's control over Crimea was engulfed in massive flames, lighting up the night sky across the Kerch Strait. This attack is not just another explosion. It's a clear message that Ukraine is far from backing down, and the war is entering a new, more unpredictable phase. The Crimea Bridge, also known as the Kerch Bridge, has long stood as both a logistical and symbolic lifeline between Russia and the annexed peninsula of Crimea. Built under Putin's direct orders after Russia seized Crimea in 2014, the bridge has been more than just a piece of infrastructure. It has been a political statement. To Moscow, it symbolizes power and permanence. To Ukraine, it represents occupation and resistance. So when flames once again tore through its steel structure, the world understood the message immediately. Ukraine was striking at the very heart of Russian control. Reports indicate that the attack occurred late at night, catching Russian defenses off guard. Residents across the Kerch area were awakened by massive explosions, followed by a huge fireball that turned the sky orange. Videos began circulating within minutes, showing thick plumes of smoke, collapsing bridge sections, and emergency vehicles racing to the scene. Satellite images confirmed significant damage to the bridge's roadway, and possibly to its rail line, as well the same route that Russia uses to transport troops, ammunition, and fuel to the southern front. While Russian state media initially tried to downplay the incident, claiming a minor fire, the visual evidence told a very different story. Flames consumed large portions of the bridge deck, with parts of the structure visibly buckling under the heat. Eyewitnesses described hearing secondary explosions, possibly from vehicles carrying fuel or explosives. Ukrainian sources, while not officially confirming their involvement, released cryptic statements suggesting that this was a calculated and precise operation designed to disrupt Russian supply lines yet again. Strategically, the Crimea Bridge is Russia's lifeline to its forces in occupied southern Ukraine, especially in areas like Kherson and Zaporizhia. Every time this bridge is attacked, Russia's logistics suffer a major blow. It forces Moscow to reroute supplies through long, vulnerable land routes that are easily targeted by Ukrainian drones and missiles. This attack, like the ones before it, is not just about destruction. It's about cutting off the arteries that feed Russia's war machine. Experts have analyzed the footage and satellite imagery, suggesting the attack was likely carried out using advanced naval drones or long-range precision missiles. Ukraine has significantly improved its drone technology over the past year, creating sea-based drones capable of carrying large payloads and navigating directly to high-altitude targets. These drones are stealthy, hard to detect, and can be operated remotely from hundreds of kilometers away. The precision of the blast suggests a coordinated strike, possibly launched from Ukrainian controlled coastal areas or even from the sea itself. Putin's response has been one of predictable outrage. Russian authorities immediately labeled the strike as an act of terrorism, vowing swift retaliation. The Kremlin has once again intensified missile strikes on Ukrainian cities, targeting civilian infrastructure in what appears to be a retaliatory move. Yet, for all the threats, these attacks reveal a deeper truth: Ukraine has managed to breach one of Russia's most heavily guarded assets multiple times, something that was once thought impossible. Each successful hit chips away at the myth of Russian invincibility and exposes the growing vulnerabilities of Moscow's military machine. For Ukrainians, the destruction of the Crimea Bridge carries immense symbolic weight. It's a reminder that Crimea, despite being under Russian control for nearly a decade, remains a contested territory and a key part of Ukraine's national identity. Every attack on that bridge sends a message of defiance and hope, a declaration that occupation will never be accepted as permanent. The bridge is more than steel and concrete. It's a representation of the entire struggle for liberation and sovereignty. As the flames spread across the bridge, the reaction from both sides was immediate. Russian social media was flooded with anger, disbelief, and fear, while Ukrainians celebrated online, sharing images and memes that highlighted the symbolic victory. The morale boost for Ukraine was undeniable, especially at a time when the war has settled into a grinding, attritional phase. Each strike like this re-energizes the public, reminding them that their military is capable of reaching deep into occupied territory. Military analysts have pointed out that this repeated targeting of the Crimea Bridge serves a dual purpose, both psychological and tactical. On one hand, it undermines Russian confidence, showing that even their most secure assets can be destroyed. On the other, it cripples their logistics, slowing down reinforcements, supplies, and ammunition heading toward the front lines. This is especially critical as Ukraine continues its counteroffensive operations, pushing to reclaim occupied land in the south and east. Russia, in response, has scrambled to tighten security around the Kerch Strait, deploying anti-drone defenses, additional radar systems, and naval patrols. Yet, the sheer fact that this latest attack succeeded despite those precautions raises serious questions about the effectiveness of Russian defenses. Some insiders within Russia have even begun to criticize the government's inability to protect such a vital structure, fueling domestic frustration and political tension. The visual of the bridge in flames has become one of the most powerful images of the war. It represents not just a tactical strike, but a symbolic humiliation for Moscow. The bridge, once touted as an engineering marvel and a monument to Russia's power, now stands in ruins once more. For Putin, who personally drove the first vehicle across the bridge during its inauguration, this destruction is deeply personal. It's a reminder that no matter how much control he asserts over Crimea, it remains vulnerable to Ukrainian resistance and Western-backed precision strikes. Internationally, the reaction has been mixed but telling. Western nations have praised Ukraine's resilience and tactical ingenuity, while calling for continued support and defense aid. Meanwhile, Russia's allies have remained largely silent, offering no substantial defense beyond generic condemnations. The global narrative continues to shift. The image of a strong, unshakable Russia is being replaced by one of a country struggling to maintain its grip on occupied territories amid mounting internal and external pressure. As for Ukraine, this operation showcases its growing sophistication in modern warfare. Over time, Ukraine's military has evolved from defending its cities to striking key strategic targets deep behind enemy lines. This latest attack demonstrates that Kyiv is not just surviving, it's adapting, innovating, and fighting with precision. It's a transformation that has impressed military observers around the world and continues to frustrate Russia's high command. The psychological impact of the Crimea Bridge attacks on Russian troops cannot be understated. Soldiers stationed in southern Ukraine now face uncertainty not just from advancing Ukrainian forces, but from the knowledge that their supply lines could be destroyed at any moment. This breeds doubt, fear, and fatigue, critical factors that can shift the balance in any prolonged conflict. For Ukraine, morale is equally vital, and each successful strike becomes a rallying point for unity, courage, and determination. At this stage of the war, symbolism is as powerful as firepower. The bridge's destruction sends a message that reverberates far beyond the battlefield. Russia's control is not absolute, and its dominance is not guaranteed. Every explosion, every burning image of that bridge reminds the world that Ukraine is not merely defending itself, it's actively reshaping the war. As investigations continue and satellite footage reveals the full scale of the damage, it's clear that this was not a random act of aggression. It was a planned, strategic, and symbolic strike designed to remind both Russia and the international community that the war's outcome remains uncertain and that Ukraine still has the power to surprise. What happens next is unpredictable. Russia may escalate its missile attacks on Ukrainian cities, while Ukraine may continue to target key infrastructure that supports the Russian occupation. But one thing is certain: the destruction of the Crimea Bridge, again, marks another turning point in this brutal and ever-evolving conflict. It's a moment that highlights both the vulnerability of Russia's war machine and the unwavering resilience of Ukraine's fight for freedom. The images of the burning bridge will be remembered as a defining moment, a symbol of defiance, of strategy, and of a nation's will to resist. For Ukraine, it's a reminder that even the most powerful empires can be shaken. For Russia, it's a painful lesson that symbols of power can quickly become ruins. The flames lighting up the Kerch Strait are not just the aftermath of an explosion. They are a reflection of a war that continues to burn on, reshaping the balance of power, one strike at a time.